Yes, guys, this is the Cave Interpretation Center. Yes, guys, this is the map of Barbados. And for those of you who haven't been to Barbados as yet, when they come to Barbados, you can make Harrison's Cave your number one stop. It is $46 per person. The entrance door. And Harrison's Cave is run by Chukka Limited, Chukka from Jamaica, Chukka Adventures from Jamaica. It's all about water. The last 120,000 years, 120,000 years ago, less than 1 million years ago, 60 to 1 million years ago, and beginnings. Welcome, Barbados is a place unique in the world. Its geology and geography have shaped us and the way we live. We hope you enjoy your visit to one of our national treasures. How did the cave form? The limestone of Barbados is porous and fractured. The rock contains many tiny holes, cracks, and fissures that allow water to pass through the rock. As water finds its way through the limestone directly or through the gullies, it dissolves the rock as it flows. Eventually, the water reaches the underlying oceanic sediments that form an impenetrable layer called an aquifer. The water flows towards the sea along the top of the aquifer layer, dissolving the limestone above and forming a stream cave. Acidic water dissolves limestone rock to create Harrison's Cave. Harrison's Cave and gullies like the one shown here contain many examples of karst features. What is karst? Karst is the term geologists give to landforms and caves created when acidic water dissolves karst rock such as limestone. Limestone is mostly calcium carbonate which can be dissolved with acid. As rain falls through the atmosphere, it absorbs carbon dioxide from the air and it becomes slightly acidic. The water's acidity increases through a series of chemical reactions as it moves through the soil and into the limestone below. Over many thousands of years, the acidic water dissolves limestone away, creating cavities that may develop into caves. In map of Barbados. This is how the cave looks.
So everybody's gathering information in a fun way. You're getting all the information you need, so you're not going to be scared on the ground. And you're seeing what we're planning in the yard. This is the whole outlay of what we planted for you guys. Even an infinity pool is going to be slotted for behind the bar area where you guys will have gone down perhaps already. We are on Barbados. In the center of Barbados is Harrison's Cave, which is a lovely treasure. Sometimes we have wedding ceremonies underground with guests in attendance. And we are at the highest elevated plateau. I know my Trinity friends are here. I am Trinity to the bone too, and my grandfather was from Trinidad. He was a dude called Arnold Mills from Trinidad, so my mom told me, so I know. I've been to Europe. This is be in the middle. So we don't have mountains like what you guys have. I went up to Europe, I think it was Mount St. Benedict, when I went up years ago up in the clouds. We have high hills, and right now we are in the highest plateau. The highest elevated area of St. Thomas is 1,100 feet. At our deepest point on the ground, we'll be still 700 feet above the ocean. So, from here, we are going to go into the movie. Brando, who is outside? Mama, you get through with the ice cream now? Oh, you're sweet as ever now. So we get ready to go into the movie, which is 8.5 minutes. It gives you a little bit of history on the Caribbean islands. I think they mentioned Trinidad too in there, you know. So Trinidad get mentioned in there and stuff like that too. You know you gotta mention you. Trinidad, you're going to mention Trinidad, you cannot mention Trinidad. So I think y'all in the movie too and all that, but primarily telling you about the coral limestone that we're made of. So let me make sure, I had a family of 4 that is due to arrive for this last store. Let me make sure if they're here. But it's gonna be, this is the last one, yeah. So we're going to movie. Look at Barbados. All right, so let's gravitate into the movie room then. Remember to sit in your entities. You know who you are, and remember that you don't sit with whom you do not know, even on the track or in the movie, right? So any little family, new faces, yes. Sit with your family. You have to sit with your families, and then, right then, the family, my Trinity family is the biggest. My Trinity family is 6. Come, Trinity. Trinity, you know that I'm the tour guide.
Okay,
so
sorry.
where you find where you're heading going so? Your head turn.
No, I tell you I'm going to follow you.
But let me tell you, head, I don't turn down there because this is the last story. It was overnight down there, so till 8:30 in the morning.
My wife tell me I'm going to follow you.
Right, so you know you can sit by yourself somewhere.
Yeah, in the back.
Right.
In the back.
Right, so my Trinity family, we have 2 rows on the top. Because there's 6 of you, I give you 2 rows. This family is going to have 1 row. We have a family of 4 that is still outstanding. So you guys can sit next to each other. Normally it says don't sit. So Trinity here, you all have 2 rows because you're the largest contingent. So you play hardware like we do. This gentleman has 1 row, he's alone. This family has 1 row. So we ready for the movie then?
Yeah. And then goes like, no
You want to So I'm afraid we have no popcorn. Don't hold it against me. Movie time.
Welcome to Harrison's Cave. In just a few minutes, you will be witnessing one of nature's most beautiful works of art. But first, let's go way back in time and see just how beautiful Barbados was born and how the miracle of caves came about. All the islands of the Windward and Leeward chain evolved as a result of volcanic activity. All, that is, except one. The one that stands alone to the east of all the islands is our island, Barbados. Barbados is a very young island, being a mere 60,000 years since it took on the shape it is today. Its formation is also utterly unique. But in order to understand just how ancestral Barbados came about, we must go back in time a long, long way. It is well documented that 200 million years ago, there was but one landmass on planet Earth, which modern geologists name Pangaea. About 180 million years ago, Pangaea started to fragment, and separate plates, as they are called, drifted away to form the continents. In the main, it two plates met head-on, they crumbled and were pushed upward. Many of the world's great mountain ranges were formed in such a way. In the case of the two plates we're looking at, the Atlantic plate folded under the Caribbean plate, and there, 50 million years ago, 4 kilometers beneath the surface of the ocean, the stage was set for the formation of Barbados. The trough that formed as a result of this folding action began to fill with sediments washed up from the South American continent. Along with these sediments, the tropically warm ocean teemed with billions and billions of microorganisms that had shells of hard silica and carbonate. As the organism's short life cycle ended, the skeletons of these tiny plankton were continually added to the so-called South American sediments. From time to time, the flow of these sediments slowed and the layer of plankton skeletons would increase. Now we fast forward to about 15 to 10 million years ago. The silica and carbonates of the plankton skeletons have now hardened into masses of solid rock we know as chalk, and less commonly, radiolite. It could be said that these rocks are huge graveyards of microorganisms, and therefore referred to as biogenic rocks. By about 10 million years ago, the two colliding plates had moved so much that the ocean floor itself began to buckle upward, carrying the ridge of oceanic sediments closer and closer to the surface. This entire ridge emerged, and even today stretches from Puerto Rico in the north to Trinidad in the south. Finally, between 1 and 2 million years ago, a mere blink of an eye in geological terms, the seabed broke the surface at latitude 13 degrees north and 59 degrees west, and ancestral Barbados was born. It was, in fact, the area known today as the Scotland District. Before 800,000 years ago, coral reefs could not grow in the sea around ancestral Barbados. The conditions were not right. They needed clear, nutrient-rich water, which did not exist at that time. But then, over a period of about 200,000 years, conditions for reef formation became ideal. Prolific coral growth took place in the relatively shallow waters that surrounded ancestral Barbados. At around 500,000 years ago, a massive tectonic push lifted the entire island along with the submerged coral reef terrace. The result was that this terrace was now entirely above sea level and became the first and upper coral terrace. Another outcome of this tectonic uplift was that an abundant fresh coral growth began in the new shallow waters created around the west and south coasts. At about the same time, erosion started to take place on the east coast, exposing the intriguing folds of the oceanic sediments that remain to this day. The sheer rock face of Hackleton's Cliff was also formed during this period. Further geological developments were that the heavy tropical rains started to carve gullies and erode subterranean caves. The final period of the evolving Barbados was from about 120,000 years ago, with two more significant tectonic pushes taking place. The latter, a mere 60,000 years back in time. These major pushes resulted in the middle and the lower coral terraces rising above sea level. Heavy rainfall continued to erode existing gullies and enlarge older caves. The same processes that created Harrison's Cave are evident in the sculpted formations found at Welsham Hall and Jack-in-the-Box gullies. Both of these beautiful gullies are very close to Harrison's Cave. The existence of the cave we call Harrison's had almost certainly been known by the Amerindian Indians, the island's early inhabitants, but it seems that Lord Richard Lygon, as far back as 1647, could have been the first European to know of the cave. Certainly, it was documented that Dr. Pinkard and party in 1796 truly put the cave on the map. The cave was later named after Thomas Harrison, who owned the land in the area at the time. However, many relative past until Barbadian Tony Mason, who already had detailed knowledge of the cave, teamed up with Danish speleologist Ole Sorensen, and together they rediscovered the cave in 1970, generating great interest in this natural wonder. In 1974, the Barbados National Trust commissioned Sorensen to conduct a full survey in order to develop the cave as a local and tourist attraction. The cave was subsequently opened to the public in 1981. The original natural entrance that Sorensen used is still navigable and is now the focus of a unique wild caving tour for small groups. Over the past few years, the Harrison's Cave experience has been altered dramatically, with many innovative and exciting changes being made. There is no mystery as to how the beautiful karst formations you are about to see came about. Calcium-saturated water dripping from the roof slowly deposits minerals in the form of a stalactite. The drip then goes through the same process when it hits the floor of the cave, and the corresponding stalagmite is formed. The process is immensely slow. But then, nature was never one to be hurried. Perhaps the real mystery is how nature always manages to create natural wonders far more beautiful than man could ever dream of. We hope that you will agree.
Did everybody enjoy that then? I enjoy it myself and I see it all the time. So we're going to get ready. I'm going to turn on the lights. Your driver, Brandon, is outside with the helmet, so you're going to get your helmet. I'm wearing mine already. And you can adjust your helmets for a comfortable fit here. Some of you have never worn one. See this wheel? This wheel moves. So when you put it on, you turn the wheel to tighten it or to loosen it so it fits comfortably.